What's up, guys? Compound Coalition video with Andrew. I can't pronounce his last name. Combat Art Training. What's your last name?
Smersek. No one can pronounce it.
I'm going to need you to fucking change that so that it's spelled the way it actually sounds. So
I'm pretty sure
you're going to have to pronounce it different, or we're going to have to spell it different. All right, so what do you do and why are you here?
So I do firearms training, gunfight-oriented training, and nylon gear. Got a YouTube channel, an Instagram, all that. But the priority with the company is trying to get people trained to save lives. We also do nylon gear.
Scoot back so you're not banging the table.
Yep, that funds, the nylon gear funds the training. It's a good way to make money, to put out, good gear for me to be able to be creative, do something that I really enjoy. And also, like, a big thing I want to do is just, like, have an impact on the culture. We just hired our first person. So she went from, she doesn't have a car. I'm driving to pick her up. I'm bringing her to work. I'm teaching her. And now we've got one person in Fort McCoy employed. Everyone says, like Camden's like the middle of nowhere and all that. Camden makes Fort McCoy... Fort McCoy makes Camden look like New York City. Like, there's nothing.
What's your new employee do?
She has been cutting. She's been burning and marking all the webbing. She has just started sewing. She's been doing it for about 2 weeks, and I've got some items right now that she made all of them herself.
So she's doing arts and crafts. For real. Like, when people are like, what's the job? I'm like, you do it in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit. You do it in 5th grade. It's more important to have somebody that will actually show up than them to be able to do the job at this point right now. Mm-hmm. We can teach them the job. The job's not hard. Like, guys are like, we have guys come in all the time for the clip and clean table. Like, that's where we put you. Because if you can't do that, you can't do any of the other. Like, I'm not going to fucking be anywhere within arm's reach of you if you can't fucking do that job. Yeah. Because any child can do that job. It's
so important, too. It's like, anytime a cut is fucked up, it screws up everything. It could be that it's, camo pattern's not facing the right way. Could be that, like, the top looks perfect, and then it comes down, and then this corner's just down a little bit. Fucking screws up everything, slows everything down. Yeah. It is so vitally important, and it's infuriating when it's wrong.
No, I get it. That's why everything's going automated. If you bought a laser, if you had a shop full of people cutting this stuff, right, a laser would replace all of them. Mm-hmm. And it would be the same every single time.
Yeah, and that's something we were talking about on the last video, too, is like... button pushers, right? Mm-hmm. And the way I see a lot of gear I'm seeing is like the laser cut molly and whatnot, and it seems like they only do a couple actual lines of
stitching. No sewing in it, and what they are sewing, it's a tacker. It's a programmable tacker doing that. There's not a skill level there. If you took one of those dudes out of there and you brought them, if you brought fucking 20 of us together, and you're like, design and build something. They might be able to design it. They couldn't build it. And they probably couldn't design it without the program they're using.
Right. And it's an interesting thing, too, because it's like, the craftsmanship isn't there, but they've got to have great production, So it's kind of a trade-off. I like the shit like you make, and the style that and I'm following you in my designs, too. But it is like a thing, too, where I'm like, fuck, I spent a lot of time on stuff that a lot of things are done
right.
Simply.
So when you look at the art world, right, you can go to any fucking store right now and buy a Van Gogh print that they printed out somewhere in China. It's not a Van Gogh. Which one do you want to be?
The Van Gogh.
You want to be the Van Gogh, or do you want to just have some fucking kids in a warehouse pull fucking 1 million of these and you make $1 per print, right? And you sell 1 million, or do you want to paint the one that you paint all year long, 5 hours a day, and eventually maybe somebody will give you 1 million, right? And you just have to decide which of those you are, right? We started early on.
Yeah.
We could completely change and modernize everything. It would scrap everything we're doing. And I would have to learn a lot of new things to be able to do that, right? You're in a position right now where you know how to do the old way because you've been doing it. It's very close to what we're doing. And then you could also sprinkle the modern in there, right?
Right.
Like, we would have to scrap everything we're doing. Like, to put in a new inventory control system, we'd have to shut down for 30 days probably.
It'd be a nightmare.
The SKUs and everything. Guys are like, we just need to, barcode that. Then you got to assign barcodes. I got 14,000 part numbers and belts.
Right.
Like, everybody's got great ideas. Evan has wonderful ideas.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a fucking WordPress site. It's never fucking happening.
No.
I'm not going to rely on somebody. I've had several dudes build amazing fucking websites, and I couldn't tell you where any of them are to fix it when there's a problem or when there's a glitch in it.
Right.
I have to have something, and I know this right now, and I know how to make this work. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it would completely shut us down.
I just had to rebuild my website just because, like, my major issue was updating classes. It took so long.
Yeah.
Trying to put dates on each individual spot. Now I put dates on 2 spots. A lot easier. Easier. Well, the other thing too is like, with do you want to be the quality or the quantity? You know, the quantity, you get everyone, and that was something that people were telling me when I first started my business.
Yeah, you don't want everyone.
Exactly. They were telling me, "Oh, you want to be for everyone?" Like, really? Because like, when we do a class, it gets fucking dark. We have fun. And it's a learning environment. However, in the end, we're, just like James said, we teach good people how to kill bad people. Like, we face things in that class, trying to develop the proper mindset of the realities of what it is. And you have to look at yourself too, a lot of times, and think about, like, where am I? How survivable am I? A big wake up call I've seen was when we're practicing tourniquets on a buddy drilling, they have to drag someone off the X. And when a father is trying to drag his son and he realizes he is not strong enough, that's like a hard thing to face, right?
Most of them are out of shape.
Yeah. But I've seen it where it's motivated guys to do better, and it's good that they saw that, it's, and there's a lot of things in class where it's like, I want you to do this now so that when lives are on the line, it is not your first time. That should not be your first time.
Quantity, quality, right? When you see a Ferrari going down the road, you identify it, it's a Ferrari.
Yeah.
When you see, how many models of cars does Ford make?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. Nobody fucking knows because nobody fucking cares.
Right.
But that car going down the road, it could be a Ferrari. It could be the Ferrari, the Porsche.
Yeah.
But that could be a Ford. It could be a Hyundai. It could be a Toyota. Like, you don't know what the fuck it is because you don't fucking want it.
Right.
Nobody seeks it out. People go to buy a Ford typically because they go to look at a Mustang or something, and then they end up buying this other thing. They do because it was what they could get them financed on.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to be?
Yeah. And the biggest thing is, like, the people I interact with, like, it matters. I was talking with Jody on the way here, and I was talking about, like, hey, like, I'm trying to figure out how, when I'm hiring people, how to get them, like, kind of committed to it. And he was talking about, like, having core values, and he was bouncing some ideas into me, and I was like, you know what, I've been doing that, talking about, like, the importance of the product. And I'm like, hey, like, when, like, I was like, this bag that we're building it for Evan, for Radio Made Easy. He just got laid off, went into business on his own. He has 3 kids, an awesome wife. Evan and Hannah are the most patient parents I've ever met. Like, I'm amazed, like, how good they are to their kids. Like, because I don't have that level of patience at all. But that's supporting him and his family. And then this bag is, going to John, who is one of his students, and different John. Going to one of his students and, like, talking about him, what he does, his family, and like we know these people on a personal level. In class, like, I'm surrounded by, like, the coolest fucking people in the world. Like, it's funny, I've had it before where people are like, you must get some weirdos in class. I'm like, no, not at all, dude. Like, I mean, yeah, you're gonna get people that come in that you're like, I don't want this person here, but the majority of it, like, I fucking love it. Like, when I go teach a class, I basically sew during the week, teach a class on the weekends.
So why don't you scale your business to where you can just do classes and you don't have to sew?
That's what I'm going for right now. What I want to do is, during the week, I want to develop new products, make videos. I want to have those fulfilled by employees, and then teaching on the weekends. And really, I want to get to the level. I need more students, and this is why I had to hire someone, because I don't fucking have time. I'm busy fulfilling orders, so I haven't. It's like I've capped myself. Mm-hmm. And there's tons of things I need to be faster and better about, anyways. But I need the help, and really, I don't want to teach, the first level classes as much. I want someone else to be able to do that. And not only like, it's not because it's like boring or something like that. It's like, it's kind of like, I want to be doing that next level shit. And I want to bring more students up to the next level. Cause I have some students like that train with me every month. They take a class. Like I made a post about buy a second gun exactly like your carry gun, so that way my carry gun, it stays loaded, clean, all that. And I put the mileage on the other one. I have a student that I told him to do it. He did. And he fucking broke his training gun already. Like, because he's putting in the work. So, yeah, I want it to be we're designing new product, making videos, and then teaching. And I want to be teaching not the first level classes that we teach, but the next level. And the other thing is too, is like, I need to get the land, so we can do night shoots. So we do force on force. Because we already have like a shitload of training days offered, like if I did the math, I did the math before, but I don't know, it's like over 20 days of training.
Are you maxing out your class capacity?
Yeah. The amount of curriculum we have, but all that shit, you could do that at night too, every class we could do.
Which makes it a complete different class.
Right. Totally different. And that's the important shit. Force on force is the biggest thing I want to do. That's why I was so interested in getting that building. And I'm like, dude, I could do force on force. Then, like, for guys who haven't trained at tactical response, if you're like, which class should I take first? Everyone will say fighting pistol. I disagree. I would say take the fight, because in the fight,
no, they're not ready for it. Most dudes carrying a gun don't know how to run the gun.
They're not.
You're gonna. James would fucking choke you out right now for saying that. No.
He said it before. He said, you go back. He said some guys are taking the fight first, and they're better students in fighting pistol. And because my thing is, if you do that, you'll be the best student. You'll want to take all the training because you'll understand. Like I said, you face darkness, in classes. And some people don't like guys who train. And as James would say, you represent fear, pain, and death. When you take the fight, you face fear, pain, and death. Like when I took the fight, it was more stressful than the actual gunfights I was in, because it's up close, it's personal, you're alone. There's mistakes that you make that haunt you, but you take it again and again, you get better. Last time I did Fight Continues and Advanced Immediate Action Medical in the same week, I would have died in one of the scenarios, but I was like, under the circumstances, I was still happy.
Have you done any Craig Douglas classes?
Not yet.
Works?
That's gonna kick my ass. That's the next level challenge I need to do. But I have not yet. I need to fucking start working out again. I've been slacking on that because I've been, whatever excuse. But and I wanted to roll around and do some jiu-jitsu before that because I haven't gotten choked out in a long time. So I'd like to go in there not completely.
Do you want me to choke you out while you're here?
No. Thank you, though. You should see the look in his eyes right now.
Just 90% of this is just what goes in here. It's not even the workout.
Right.
But yeah, just fucking make time for that, man. Change what goes in, exert some energy, leave some sweat on the ground every day, and find a time when you're going to do that. Like schedule it. I mean, make a schedule and just fucking put that in there.
Yep. Wake up earlier. Just do it.
Whatever it is you have to do. What time you go to sleep?
Sometimes super fucking late.
Yeah, that's how I used to be when I was one man show. I would fucking work all night and then sleep, all morning.
Yeah, we worked yesterday because I had been up, I don't know, till like 2 or 3 in the morning the day before, and I got up at 10. We worked till 10 p.m. and then we drove up here. Mm-hmm. I drove the first shift and Ashley took the last 4 hours.
Yeah, we used to we'd go to Soldier of Fortune show when it was going, or SHOT Show or Trexpo, right? So we would run to build up a bunch of shit to take, and we always had some new thing I was working on.
Right.
And we'd finish it up at the last minute, and at 3 in the morning, I'd sleep till 5, and then we'd get up and drive to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That thing we were working on never fucking mattered.
Right.
Never fucking mattered.
The Chester guy showed you. My goal was to have some of those ready to sell this weekend at Alumni so people could take some home. I probably wanted to show you and to show other people, but it didn't happen. I got it done. I truly feel like I earned it the past 2 weeks because it was just sewing every day as long as I possibly could.
How long do you think you could build that? How long would it take you to build that rig?
Right now, 2 hours because I have to think about it. The bump bag that I showed you, I got that down probably to a half hour if it's cut. I changed a couple things and I shortened one of the measurements. And I changed a couple things on how I sew it. Fucking infinitely faster.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, like on those edges. Like,
yeah,
send them up, they'll go together faster. You won't have to worry about needle deflection. Like, if you knock that machine out of time, you're done for the most part. Like, I'm sure you could figure out how to time a machine. I can figure out how to time a machine, but it's going to be way faster when you just put another machine in there, right?
Right.
Because you're not going to be in there timing machines and fucking around with them when your girl knocks it out of time.
Yeah.
And you're about to find that just because your patterns put this together properly, when you hand it to production, hey, we're coming up a half inch longer over here, or we need a half inch more. You're like, I've built 100 of these. These patterns work. Your biggest frustration in your business is always going to be human beings.
Right. Yeah, the sides, those, because if you take that stitch and move it right here, the whole thing is fucked up now.
Yeah. Why did you do that? I did this and showed you how I wanted it.
Yeah.
You did it and showed me that you can duplicate it. And you did
else.
5 of them while I was here, but when I came back from lunch, you sewed 10 of them backwards.
The really funny thing is you mentioned in a video recently, I think it was one of your builds, was like you'll finish this badass huge thing and then realize you forgot one simple thing on like
every one of these is missing something. These are all the products we built in, well, these are about half of the products we built in the full build videos. But they're all, I forgot something. There's something on each of them, which, I mean, that should be like the upside down postage stamp. Really, it should cost more. It has more value now. But a lot, like whoever, the dude that gets this, it's going to be some dude that just takes it and fucking sells it on eBay. He's going to break it down. I mean, you could make money doing it, but
I don't know if you remember, but when we first met, I came into the shop and you were busy, and then I was packing up the car, and then the owner of the company was taking out the trash. Like just as I was about to leave, and I just came up to shake your hand, and you're like, talked for a second, and he's like, did you want to get something while you're here? And I'm like, yeah, I want a micro rig, but there wasn't any. And then I ended up getting the micro rig that you had done a YouTube video with.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I have that. So that's like my prized, this is in a fucking YouTube video that you were talking about the micro rig. And so for me, as a total gear queer, like I totally nerded out. I'm like, I love that.
But
I love that
now,
thing. I can't sell that.
How many years ago is that? 3?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 2000.
You could build a micro rig now in probably under 90 minutes.
Probably. But I don't know, some of that, because doing the way you sew pouches and shit, I have a couple designs for magazine pouches that I showed it to you, and it was way too thick, and it was like, it's one of those items where I keep going back to it and trying to figure it out how to make it do the exact thing I want, and I haven't been able to nail it down where it's right. So it's like a lot of my items are more like everyday carry and, like as you say, like lifestyle stuff, medical stuff, and there's like some designs I'm super fucking proud of, like the fanny pack. I'm like, hey, there's nothing else like this. I can't 100% say that someone else has copied it, but I feel like I've seen nuances I have that have started to appear.
Probably somebody you know.
I don't know, maybe, but like
it's probably somebody bought yours and like, hey, can you duplicate? I get that all the time.
Yeah.
People are like, will you build this? I'm like, no.
Yeah, and it's funny too. John was like, I showed him, I think it was a fanny pack, and you're like, hey, careful. Like if there's, if you start seeing mag pouches on the back of my thing, I'm like, dude, I don't care.
What I told him, I'm like, hey, we're always building stuff, and we have a lot of shit sitting around. I go, we're going to build a man pack radio pack. Yeah. Don't show me yours. And you're like, I don't care. I'm definitely not fucking building one like you built. It's too, like, that's what I always tell them. I'm like, your stuff, people used to tell me, your stuff's overbuilt. And I'm like, fuck you, man, whatever. But like, you got to simplify your shit. Like, it takes you too long to build it. It's tearing up your equipment. It doesn't have to be like this. It's very bulky. It's heavy. we could cut this material out. If you really want to double layer things, put a pack cloth on the inside, which is what all my competitors did. Why did I put Cordura? Because my competitors use pack cloth, and Cordura is stronger than pack cloth.
Right.
But I mean, we're building tons of shit that's single layered. Like we double layered this hydro carrier for fucking 20 years. Why?
Yeah.
Well, in case the pals, rips off. We've never seen the fucking trust your material. Like the material is better now than it used to be. Like it works, right? You're not going to see the pals come off.
The funny thing with that too is like one thing I noticed is when someone on like Instagram or something like gets a
I love the free advice.
Well, they get a piece of gear made, but they're not a gear maker. They're like, and we made sure it was 1,000 denier Cordura.
Yeah, and they call it 1,000 din. They don't know what denier is. They don't know what Cordura is. I see. Right. I was watching something while I was doing the quail. I was string trimming or cutting down all the weeds in the quail pen out there. And I was listening to a video or something. Something came on, and I looked, and it's some holster company or something. He's like, well, ballistic nylon. It's not ballistic nylon. It's fucking Cordura. And then when they said Cordura, it wasn't fucking Cordura. It was something else. Like, they don't know, man. 1,000 din. It's like when you listen to an audio book, and they're like, 556. No, that said 556. His
NODS.
His NODS, yeah. That's night observation device. They're called nods. Like, you have read Horton or whatever his name is has read thousands of these prepper books. You would think that motherfucker would know by now.
Yeah.
The dude reading Jack Carr's books, he knows what Jack Carr wants him to be called.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it is, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so the primary thing, like, I appreciate every order, but when I have to fulfill orders, it's like a stressful thing, and it's like, I can't do the stuff I want to be getting done. There's like so many fucking designs, so many things I've even like,
what's the one thing I tell you more than anything else?
Which thing?
Raise your prices.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because you're not paying me $450 for this war bag.
Right.
Because it's the bag. You're paying me $450 because I'm not going to go do what I want to do with my wife this weekend. And I am instead going to build this thing. That's why you're paying me $450.
Right.
Could you get a bag from Walmart for $20? Sure you could. It's not the same bag, but you're not paying me $450 because it takes me an hour to build the bag, or it actually takes me longer, but you're paying me because after 35 years, you know my name and you came to me to buy this bag.
Yeah.
Why can't you go buy one somewhere else? Go find one. I haven't seen one. Show me, tag me in it.
Right.
What they don't realize is, and I don't mean it like this for everybody, but I don't care whether you buy this bag or not, because I have 12 orders in there right now that I owe, and I have 5 emails every fucking day. They're still watching the 15-second short right now. I get tagged every morning. I wake up and check notifications, and I've got guys talking about this in this bag on YouTube and on Instagram and on Facebook. And the craziest shit is on Facebook, and YouTube's pretty crazy too.
There's a lot of
but this dude just tagged me yesterday, and he's like, all this overpriced stuff. I'll bet you're charging $150 for this bag. And then he came back. He's like, you are, aren't you? You're charging $150. And we made a video about it on Wednesday. No, I'm charging $400. You know why? Well, I'm actually charging $450. You know why I'm charging $450? Because I don't want to fucking build these as many as people want, right?
Right.
You don't realize, like, if you can get it somewhere else, by all means, go get it somewhere else.
Right.
Like, I have the clientele.
Yeah.
You have some of my clientele. Yeah. There's people that'll listen to this and be like, man, I'm going to hit this guy up because John tells me no. I just had a dude ordered a butt pack. I had 2 of them, and it's the cosplay guys, right? It's not, we used to call them airsofters. I never had an airsoft guy problem. Right. There are a ton of airsoft kids that have, I had a kid come in and work for me that was an airsoft kid that did fucking 12 deployments with the fucking Rangers. And then he went to fucking SF, right?
Yeah.
Kid named Austin. Then he went and worked for, Zert, Aaron Malden, who does EP stuff out of Las Vegas, right? Well, in doing that those Zert guys that everybody was, it's the zombie emergency response team. There's a ton of fucking goobers over there, right? The cadre, solid. The members, there was no oversight or control. They just let those groups run wild.
Sorry, is that like a training thing or?
Kind of. It's a bunch of goobers.
What's the cadre do? I don't understand.
Well, they were training, yes.
Oh, okay.
And in that, people don't realize that Tyler Gray That's how I met Tyler Gray, right? Who is the dude running all the SEAL show, the Navy SEALs. Mm-hmm. He was a CAG dude. He was just on Sean Ryan's show. Mm-hmm. And then Scott Wolf, he did a ton of shit with Halo Hey Ho. That's how I got tied in doing all those rigs for carrying the 50 cals and shit while they were fucking skydiving. That all came from Aaron Malden out of there. But that's this kid who fucking came in the shop with his mom. He was in trouble all the time. They put him in military school in Carlsbad. And that's how I met that kid. But that kid came up to be a fucking meat eater, right?
Right.
Like, everybody talks shit about these airsoft guys. The airsoft guys are spending more money on training than you guys are. Like, that kid's got his shit fucking wired in tight, you know?
I was just about to say, there's a lot of airsofters that could smoke the fuck out of
I mean, go try, and it's fun. Like, you want to have some fun where you can smoke your fucking friends? Go play some airsoft for an afternoon. Just have a good time with it.
But James said, he's like, if airsoft was available when I was a kid,
fuck yeah,
I would have been the biggest airsofter in the world.
This scar on my nose is from a BB gun war.
Yeah.
I shot John Wilson's tooth out. I shot Mike Wilson in the shoulder. We had to pop the BB out. That one pump rule goes out the window as soon as you're hit. Like, we were doing that because there was no paintball guns.
Right.
And then the Splatmaster came out. That was the best thing in the world. But now it's we've done so much video game stuff. Our shit shows up in video games.
Yeah.
What's it?
Tarkov.
Tarkov. Yeah. We're in that. We're in Ghost. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon 2. We're all over that.
World at War. Your M1 Garand.
Is it in there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like as if it was issued in fucking.
See, we used to be in magazines all the time, and guys like, hey, congratulations on the magazine. I'm like, send me a picture of it because I don't even know about it. Every month we were in some magazine. But because of that, the video game kids want to do this cosplay stuff, right?
Right.
And it's always when we see a mass influx of 500 IV pouches for some reason and butt packs.
Is this the IV pouch?
Yeah. That used to be the SEAL team medical kit, right? They were putting a 500 IV of lactated ringers, and then they put like a cravat and a fucking, everybody tied them around their heads. It was a sling.
Right. And
a piece of fucking water weenie, surgical tubing. That was the med kit, right? So, you're bleeding? Let's just fucking volumize you and push some more fucking platelets out of your body. But no, they didn't know, right?
Right.
So that was the thing. So anytime we sell a bunch of those, and last night we sold a bunch of butt packs.
Yeah.
We have OD black butt packs. But all these motherfuckers ordered OD black butt packs, and then I get 2-3 emails from these guys, and this kid's like, hey, I don't want OD black, I want OD. I'm like, okay, well, I can refund you. You weren't able to order OD because I don't have OD.
Right.
And I look, first order, right? So this other kid's like, hey, I need you to change this. I want belt attachments on the back of this butt pack, and I don't want the zipper. Zippers tend to fail for me too much. I want Velcro in the lid. And I'm like, whatever. So I look him up because I'm curious, right? And lo and behold, I've got emails from him. Well, what do the emails say? He's emailed about a dozen other times, and he has ordered, hey, I want to order this thing. So I've put it online for him to order. And then he starts, hey, when is this going to ship? How come this hasn't shipped? Hey, can you just go ahead and refund this because I'll just order it when you make it? No, you're done. You're dead as a customer. You're done. So I hit him up. I'm like, hey, we're not doing any of these changes.
Yeah.
I've canceled and refunded your order. And why did I do that? Based on all the fucking other shit that every single time he's ordered, he has placed an order, and after the fact wants us to make some changes. And then I tell him no. And then he's like, hey, when's this going to ship? When's this going to ship? When's this going to ship? We've been building the shit out of butt packs for months now. Like every couple days we're running butt packs. We're running everything in reduced numbers. I don't want to sit in inventory, and it's not about having the inventory. It's about labor.
Right.
I've got maybe 10 girls in there right now running, right? They just ran out of work. Like, while we were out here podcasting, my production floor has run out of work. So now I've handed them work I'm doing. Amanda's not here on the camera. She's in there cutting some stuff. And I just don't have the labor to be able to build 100 of these where we would sit on them. Yeah. They would definitely sell, but it's boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So
it's kind of different than like the way you used to do it with like discount codes and stuff. But it's like,
so
you're like, I'm not.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. Don't ever put your shit on sale. You will fuck yourself, right? Because you will condition your customer to just, I know that all I have to do is wait, and in a couple of weeks he's going to put this on sale. Do an upsell. Do an add value, but when you fucking put your shit on sale, your customer now expects that's the threshold of your product.
So like add a free item or something. Yeah, I like the way you do that. The discount I only give it to my students, or I open it also to like tax response alumni prepared.
You know what's going to happen when you stop doing that?
They're gonna get pissed and not buy anything.
Nope, you're going to make more money because they're still going to buy it. Does your stuff speak for itself?
Yeah.
Are they going to buy it? Do you sell everything you make? Do you have a truck full of shit right now to bring here to sell?
I worked my dick off to make 2 bins.
Right. That means you don't fucking need to put it on sale.
Right.
They're still going to buy it.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to me because I have the best price.
Right.
That's not my client.
Yeah. Grant Cardone talks about too. It's like in negotiations, if there's an objection, it's almost never about price.
That's right.
Something else.
Andy Frisella, man.
Yeah.
Listen, you're closer to Andy than you are Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
Cardone, cool, whatever, but he's maneuvering in a different world than we are. He came from a different world.
Did you watch that video I sent you about inflation that he did?
I haven't yet.
Dude.
I actually watch. I have about 100 dudes that send me forwards from fucking TikTok and Instagram, and I do look at them.
You don't got time.
But you're one of the few people I actually watch them. I know that if you're sending it to me, I generally do watch your shit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I appreciate it.
You're one of the few people that I actually even fucking reply to. Yeah. Like, there's some dudes that just get forwards and shit that if you look through our fucking history, there's nothing that I've typed out.
Yeah, I don't have time to respond to all
I get
shit.
it.
I get
irritated
too when someone has my phone number and they hit me up on something else. I'm like, I'm not checking that. Like, I like saying stuff to people, but like I don't have fucking time to check it.
There's a big sewing machine company, parts company, right?
Yeah.
And I interact with him on social media, right? The owner of the company. So I needed 3 motors. We have these. Your motors have a break in them, right? It's just this. I'll show you. It's just this piece of metal.
Okay.
And the thread breaks on them. It's a issue. So the motor should cost about $125. The brake should cost about $10. So I'm like, hey, I need 3 of these brakes.
Right.
He's like, we don't. You need to talk to Mary in the parts department. Here's her number. So now I have to fucking call, right?
Right.
I don't want to call. While I'm at my sewing machine and my guy comes over, I need 3 of these. Okay, what are they called? Oh, they're brakes for the servo motor. Take a picture, send it to CEO of the company. Hey, I need 3 of those. Now I got to fucking call somebody. So now I've called Mary, and I'm like, Mary, I need these 3 things. I need to send you pictures of them so you can see what they are.
Right.
So now I have to email, right? Why couldn't we do that to start with?
And in that amount of time, you could have made that much money to buy new motors.
So I send her the pictures, and she's like, we don't sell just the brakes. We got the motors. I'm like, then some other person calls me. I don't talk on the phone. My phone rings because I've already called them now. Like, you call me, my phone won't ring in the building.
Right.
It just does not. So now I'm talking to somebody else, and he's like, hey, we don't have those, but we've got servo motors. I'm like, what are you getting on them? He's like, $225. I'm like, hey, thank you for your time. I'm going to pass on that. I go right on eBay and bought the exact same thing he sent me the photos of for $125.
Yep.
And now I've bought 3 of them.
Okay.
Now I'm not buying, like, I would have done a ton of business, right?
Right.
Like, I've got 52 sewing machines in here, right? We're always buying machines and parts and stuff. If I have to, like, and it really rings home, right? Make it easy for your customers to give you money. Make it easy for your customers to do business with you.
Yeah.
Like you'll hear, hey guys, who's Gary Vaynerchuk's who I'm thinking of.
Right.
So he's like, be on every platform. Maybe. Like, we're huge on TikTok, but we don't make any money from TikTok. Hey, if you're listening to this and you've seen any of my TikTok content, please leave a comment and let me know. And if anybody from TikTok found out about our company because of TikTok, let me know that. Like, great platform, growth is huge, or they're amplifying it as though, the same other places are reducing it. But it's not traceable. It's not trackable. So put your time where your money is, right? Mm-hmm. What were we talking about?
Damn.
Everything.
Raising prices, which I have done, and talking about having guys at first order, they expect this stuff. Where's my order? And for me, it's Velcro holster holders. So it was a $20 item. I put it up $5, and if people keep being like, "Where's my thing?" even though it says made to order.
What are your shotgun cards going to cost?
They're going to be expensive.
Good. What is
expensive.
Guess. Wild ass guess.
I want to look at all the other prices that everyone else has, but I want to be more than everyone else.
Yours are nice.
Yeah.
They're nice. They're nice.
Yeah. I'm like, and that's when I make something, I want it to be exactly the fuck I would want it.
But they're not putting those on the gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's enough space.
On an 870?
Yeah. So what I do is I cover the entire side with Velcro, because I treat a shotgun card, like when way the shotgun, I was using all your cards. What I do is I run through that card, I rip that off, throw another one on. So I treat it like a magazine.
Yes.
On the shotgun. Because honestly, that's what I thought they were like 100% designed to do, and then I found out no, guys run a rig with them. They feed it like this.
Well, so the cards are
they just
really
leave one there.
Yeah, but the guy running the rig's only going to run one card.
Right.
But the dudes who are too cheap to buy the rig are going to buy a bunch of cards.
Okay.
And then they're going to spend more money buying the cards and the platforms to put the cards on than buying the rig.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I want to talk to Tim about it because, like, what I was finding that everyone was like, "Oh, you do it like that?" When they saw me, and I was like, "Yeah, like, isn't that the way it's meant to be?" But
because the problem is when you throw those cards on the range,
you're gone.
You're going to lose some of them. You're not going to remember where they went if you're moving.
And the Velcro's fucked.
The Velcro's fucked.
Yeah.
That's why our med kits, when you rip them off, don't have the hook. The hook stays on the body. The soft is on the ground because it doesn't grab all the detritus and debris.
That's really smart.
But you can't do that on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Do you want your shotgun bumping around with a big fucking slab of hook Velcro? You don't. It'll chew everything up.
Well, I will say, because I ran it that way, and your Velcro held up just fine.
Sure it did.
What I do, too, is I have training magazines and I have fighting magazines. So same thing with shotgun cards. I take my training ones, spray paint them bright pink, so I can find that shit and no one else takes it. Think it's theirs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they ran just fine in fucking rain and shit. I was there 5 days. Well, we did it faster than that, but yeah, 40-hour class. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 4-mag war bag video. There's dudes in there, and so the dude's on and on about I bet it's $150. I didn't even reply to him. It's $450. And then all of a sudden I've got this influx, and I think what happens on these videos, especially that go kind of viral, is they pop back up for some dude, and he shares it in his, like, it's like being in TAC Response alumni, right?
Yeah.
You'll share it there, so you'll get 1,000 sets of new eyeballs, or Glock owner hater group, or whatever group. So you catch this new feeding frenzy, and dudes are like, I would recommend using carabiners for your shoulder straps. Awesome. You can totally take these grenade pin rings off of here
and do that.
And do that, right? If you want to do that. And like, thanks for the free advice. When I looked at your page, I didn't notice that you've built anything.
Yeah.
And then another dude's like, those plastic buckles are shit. Those will break. Thank you for the free advice. We've been using them for 35 years. I mean, it's what's in the military stock system. So it's just nuts, man. And there's just so much to it people don't realize. Like, why do we run these buckles? Because those are the buckles that came on all the CFP 90 packs, right? So when the recon Marines were in fucking berthing and they had a buckle broken on a piece of kit, they could take it right off of fucking some other Marine's pack and put it on his mission essential gear as he's about to load into a helo, right? That's why we stayed with National Molding originally.
What is a CFP 90 pack?
It was the original before, so after Alice Pack.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't know that. After Alice Pack, they got those internal frame mountain rucks, those big internal frames. So they were originally Vector. They were a low alpine.
The long one?
Mm-hmm. The camo ones with the internal frames.
Two metal things in it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We were in the transition. I got those in boot camp and SOI. And then when I hit the fleet, my seniors had them and had to get rid of them. That was a better pack than the plastic frame one.
Oh, of course.
That plastic frame one
broke all the time.
Fucking hate it.
That's why you guys have guys making fucking billet aluminum $300 frames for them.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, but the worst part of that system with the day pack, that motherfucker, dude.
The day pack weighed 5 pounds.
No, I'd rather carry a heavier main pack than a lighter day pack. Like when I did tactical small unit leaders course, we wore armor and a day pack for a week. Dude, when I would take off my pack, I'd have my armor on still. It felt like I was naked because that fucking thing sucks so much ass.
Do you realize there's guys out there that haven't fucking even hiked for 3 days in a row? They don't even know to change socks. And you're talking about wearing fucking kit for 3 days in a row.
I know. Yeah.
People don't know what trench foot is.
Yeah. Well, actually, comment on that. I got to a point where my feet were so well hardened and we were so fucking busy in the field, I wouldn't take my boots off for a week.
Yeah. And
I'd be fine. I'd sleep in. You're only sleeping what? Fucking, like, oh, God, dude. When we're getting ready for Yemen, that was the fucking worst one. They were just throwing us scenarios over and over and over. You didn't get any sleep. And then they're like, you guys didn't do good enough for spending another couple days here. Like, fuck me, you know.
That was after the Cole, like the USS Cole. That was in Yemen Harbor, wasn't it?
For me, it was I'm 30, so it was 2013.
They brought a little boat over and blew up the Cole.
Yeah, but I think that was way before.
Yeah, it was early. Yeah,
it was after. For me, it was after Benghazi.
Okay.
That Benghazi happened. They wanted an infantry unit to go to Yemen, so Bravo Company won one, which is the best company, and won one by far. They picked us to go. Yemen was the worst deployment ever. Like, we thought it was going to be a joke. We're like, oh, we're staying at a hotel. They got food here. We're like telling our boots, like, this isn't real. And then, dude, fucking, like 1 week later, I'm like, this kind of sucks. And I swear to God, it got stupider every day.
Yeah,
until the end.
Yeah, Jeff's got crazy stories about that. When the Cole got hit, they brought in a bunch of Maritime Special Purpose Forces, MSPF guys, the trailers. Cheney's platoon was in there. Jared Johns, a bunch of the stay guys were in there. And they were on deck on the Cole, and the wind caught the flag as 3 of those dudes are standing there in full SOE kit. It was on the cover of Soldier of Fortune magazine. There was actually 3 Soldier of Fortune magazines that had fucking all of the Marines in there, and everybody in there had SOE kit on. There was a, it's not MOS Tactical. There's another paid Tracer Tactical. I think it's Tracer Tactical. They got some neat stuff. Seems like a cool dude. He put up, I guess he has a rig that looks very much like the rig you're making right now.
Yeah.
So
I was like, why isn't anyone making this?
There's a few people that are. I'll tell you why I'm not making it.
Yeah.
And he had put up some pictures, and he's like, man, and I guess people are giving him shit about the depth of the rig, right? Okay. So if you put more stuff on it, and that's the thing, everybody right now is like, you can't go prone in that. And then you look at the dude saying it, well, you got a 200-pound gut on you. You're not going prone anyways.
Yeah.
So he's like, man, everybody's talking about not being able to go prone and rigs being thick, and everybody wants all this slick stuff. He's like, here's a picture of Marines, you know? And every piece of kit in there was shit that I had made. It was all, and somebody tagged me in it. That's what drew me over to the guy's page. And I said, man, I made every piece of that. And then some other guys had commented, and I commented through there a couple times, but those were all pictures of those same guys. That was all those fucking recon dudes and all them stay dudes. And it was all SOE kit.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That dude seems pretty cool. Your rig, well, we'll talk about it later.
All right.
I make a rig that is made the same way, almost identical.
Right.
It's the CFP90 rig, or the P90 UMP45 rig.
Okay.
Our subgun rig.
Yeah.
It's just a block.
Right.
Right. It's a block. So I don't want that flat across the front. I bring mine in and then put the pals because it'll still curve somewhat. Right.
Okay.
And right now everything's like.
But they're individual pouches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of. Because what took you the longest to build that rig, to figure out how to make those fucking inserts work?
No, because, because that's a totally new type of insert, but just making it work for AR, it's 2-inch webbing, 2-inch hook on each side.
It's tedious.
A little bit, but it's,
like,
I don't know.
We build tool bags, right? Like
for me, I feel like I don't have to think making it.
We'll build a bunch of tool bags, and I'm like, awesome. But then you got to build a bunch of small pockets to go inside and all these Velcro. Like you'll get a dude that'll order a tool bag, right? $125, $165, and then he's got a $25 pouch and a $25 pouch and a $15 card and a $15 card, and you got to build all this shit to ship this motherfucker out the door.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about some of my things, like that come with extras, and like one of the things I'm gonna have like new sewers do is like. This is the strap that goes on this bag, this bag, this bag.
Yes.
Make these.
Yes.
Even we put like 1.5-inch webbing loop right there that we run shock cord through. Mm-hmm. So 2 inches each. I had my girl just burn a fuck ton of those and cut a bunch. Now I have a bin. I don't have to walk over, find the thing, measure, hold them as I do each one. She just lays out, mark, and then burn. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so little shit like that.
So stop marking it. Mm-hmm. Have a ruler on the table. Mm-hmm. Right here. Cut. So we don't mark it, right? I just have a template. And then if you have a hot cutter that's spring-loaded, You can have a ruler right there on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You could even screw it down or tape it down, or even build it like you have on a table saw, so that it's the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And like you'd have a gate on there, you can just run the gate out and clamp
Okay.
it, and then you just run the webbing, chop, because you're having to measure it, mark it, cut it, remove processes, remove fucking steps. How do we just do this? Like when I cut webbing, I don't ever make a mark on the webbing. I got people that'll, if we're cutting 100 pieces that's 3-inch webbing, they'll mark it and then cut it. Can you not just eyeball that? Okay, run it on the ruler. Here's 3 inches cut. Here's 3 inches cut. Here's 3 inches cut.
Okay.
And it's faster than having them measure it at 3 inches. It's faster to cut it somewhere between 3 1/4, 3 1/2, and be close.
Right.
Once it's all on there, cut that edge off and then hot knife it.
Right. So okay. So
You'll
like shotgun carts.
You'll have more waste on the material, but the labor costs more than the material.
Right. Yeah.
And then the real answer to what I just said is you buy a digital hot cutter, and it just does it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All doable, but you'll still need all of them, right? So you might as well buy in the order of least expensive, because you're going to utilize them every day still.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the goal. Like we would buy our webbing from a company, and I'd buy a case of webbing. I'm like, cut this into 3-inch pieces, cut this into 3.5-inch pieces, cut this into 6.5 and 8-inch pieces.
Yeah.
And then we would get cases of webbing that were already cut and seared on both ends, right? And then we would take it and put it in drawers. And most of our products, if we have a magazine pouch with a pull tab for a rifle mag, it's 8 inches. Mm-hmm. If we have a pull tab for a pistol mag, it's 6.5. Mm-hmm. Well, every magazine pouch we make for a rifle is going to have that in addition to pistol. So we would just pull that shit out. We'd have them, like, they were coming in and they were charging us like a penny a cut or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well worth it, right?
Yeah,
because I couldn't afford a $5,000 digital cutter.
Right.
But once you figure out how to afford it, you can afford it. You just think you can't, right?
Right. Yeah.
Remove something else. As soon as you do it and you figure out how much time that saves you and how much time you can sew instead, or market on social media instead of cutting, like it replaces an employee.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
And that's your digital hot cutter doesn't drink too much on Sunday, didn't sleep in, it doesn't get, my tummy hurts, none of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things, like, since I hired this girl, first employee, that I've come to appreciate is the fact that I'm like, if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have been able to get this other stuff done. Like, it's like I would not have as much product as I was able to bring.
It's always that first step. Yeah, it's the first
time I come to Alumni Weekend with actual stuff that's besides slings.
And you always ask, why did I wait so long, right? People for years told me, like, man, you should take credit cards. I'm like, fuck them, man. They want my shit. They can mail me a check or cash. Well, the first month we took credit cards.
Yeah.
We had never broken. I don't think we'd ever broken $100,000 in a year.
Right.
And when we started taking credit cards, we did like 10 grand that month.
That's insane.
Like it just jumped right away, like within that first week probably.
Yeah.
So, and then you're like, why did I wait so long?
Yeah, that's exactly
like
what
when I tell people
saying.
all this stuff you should do, it's because I did all of it the fucking hard way first.
Right.
For years.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's funny too. Ashley was telling me about she's at this market. She sells soap, and she was the people next to her like didn't get shit for sale. She did good, as best she could. Probably $400 that day in like 4 hours, which is good.
Personality.
What's that?
Personality.
Yeah. Wow. But like it wasn't even that. It was like she goes, well, "You guys didn't sell anything?" It's like, no, we didn't even make enough to pay for this. And then I'm like, how do you guys take payment? She's like, oh, we're old school, just cash. And I'm like, when I heard that, it's so irritating. I'm like, no, that means I'm a pain in the ass to do business with, and I hate
touch
money.
you. I have to, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, another thing that it popped in my head while you were talking earlier was I noticed when I first started making gear, how many times people would come to me with critiques on a design that are retarded.
Yeah.
Or ideas that are fucking
the all
worst.
The time.
And they'll be like,
thank you for the free advice.
Well, it's like my fanny pack, big ass lid. One guy goes, you should make it open from the bottom so you can really position that holster there.
Shit.
Like, what the fuck are you even saying? Or
You should have sex with your wife from the top down. I mean, what the? Shut the fuck up.
yeah, crazy shit that and
There's and I tell people, I go, there's a reason why nobody makes what you're asking for.
right.
Because nobody fucking wants it.
Yes.
And I like to be like, well, one of us is a gear maker. Which, do you want to guess which one you are? One of us has run a company for 35 years. And then there's the other guy. Which one do you think you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, always, man. And like, we used to make posts when we'd launch a new product. And we're like, what do you want to see? And then everybody would give their, like, don't do that, right?
Right.
Because the dude that gives you his opinion, when you don't take his advice, he's never going to be a customer. He probably wasn't anyways, but you just open yourself up for a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have some guys that are like good friends of
Sure
me.
you do.
Max, Max's Path on YouTube. He's been like, hey, like this thing, he's had ideas. I'm like, you know what? That's a good fucking idea. Because like, I like him because, when I watch his videos, like he is one of the most squared away guys when it comes to setting up gear. So it's like I can actually value that versus you should make it open from the bottom so you can position the holster, even though it's completely open at the top. Yeah.
Did you see that guy in person that was giving you that advice?
Yes.
Did he have a gun on?
He's an instructor.
Oh, huh.
But he's not a gear maker.
Right.
Right. Like,
does he have anything that opens from the bottom like that?
I have no clue. I don't think so.
Yeah, well, there's a reason.
It's like, no, it shouldn't. Like, because it blew my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could go through 1,000 things I've heard.
And then,
it's
like,
not just that.
Standardize your shit, right? So it works in all across the board, right?
Right.
All of our zippered mesh pockets, right? Those came because the seals were getting issued the M9 bag. It was made by like TSSI, and then really when it got down to it, it was made by Eagle originally, I believe, is who was making them. And they came with these Velcro inserts in these medical backpacks, but they were just pockets that were open on the top, and they had like a bungee drawstring. So they were fucking, shit was falling. They're like, hey, the bag's awesome. These pouches don't work. We want a mesh pocket. So we actually built mesh pockets. We built a large that would hold 1,000 ringers or lactate, or saline. IV bags, and then we took that and we halved it, and that's what we built the footprint. So then when we started building the backpack, we actually built the backpack around those bags. So you could have
around the inserts,
around the mesh pockets. Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got the small bag is half the size of the large bag. So we made our backpack the footprint of that down, and then you can put 4 small pockets, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can put any place you can put 2 small, you can put 1 large. So we ship it out with 2 large and 4 smalls, and then clamshells, and you can move them wherever you want them. Then when we made the tool bag, we made it to fit those. So the tool bag is actually the Issue Canvas GI tool bag plus 1 inch. Like I tried building it like their bag, and there was just problems with it. The handle's lacking, there's issues. So I'm like, okay, fuck this. We revamp it, and when we've settled on the size was exactly perfect to hold 1 large mesh pocket or 2 small on the walls. Then we built our mag cards to fit that. How many mags fit here? Well, 5 pistol mags fit here, or 3 rifle mags fit here. And we built all of our cards and standardized them against that. And then we build all of our cards at, anywhere from 1 mag to 4 mag rifle cards. The footprint is 3 inches. 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches. And like when you standardize that, and then when you come out with a new bag, like we're doing a medical backpack that's it's 1 row taller. Well, we know that these pouches are 8 inches. The bag is going to be 8 inches taller so that you can put 3 small, 3 small, 3 small. And then you move your dimensions like that. That way, everything that your customer is going to buy or already has existing fits in your shit.
Yes.
Like I was always worried like, well, Velcro, it's going to come off. Well, we never really saw when it was Velcro dot, like Point Blank was making all the armor that Force Recon had. It was Velcro with snaps. We never saw that shit come off of there. Yes, even when the snaps failed. You don't need the snaps.
Snaps are more of a pain in the ass than
Correct.
Anything I've found.
So what I was saying that because we'd put Velcro on a whole wall, and then we'd take 1 inch webbing and sew Velcro on it, and then we'd make pals out of Velcro covered 1 inch webbing, right? So you can Velcro your pouches in, or you can molly in any of the stuff you stole from the Marine Corps. Or any of the and what am I doing? I am creating an option for people to use the best bags in the world with their fucking $5 pouch because they're too cheap to buy my real shit.
Right.
And I'm tying up all my labor. I don't have free labor sitting in there. No. My bottleneck has always been labor. We just stopped putting that. Guys are like, will you put molly inside? Fuck no. It's inside a bag. Hey, do you have any woodland mesh pockets? No, but I have some coyote ones, and they still have coyote mesh on the front of the woodland. Like, the only thing on the woodland pocket's the bottom. It goes inside. Hey, I don't have these pockets you're asking for, but I do have them in black. And I'm sure I can ship you black today, and I'm sure it doesn't matter to you because it goes inside your bag and you're never going to see it. Right? I get it. There's dudes that got to be all matchy-match and shit. But that dude is always going to be a pain in the ass.
Right. Fuck, what was it? Yeah, so last year, I was going to go up to North Carolina, prepare Patriot, and role play with like Jody and Evan and them. And right before I was going to go, this woman is like, hey, do you have any used fanny packs? No. Do you have any that have been sent back? Never happened. Do you give a discount? No. Like, can you do payments? I'm like, I think I can figure that out. So I set up a PayPal account to make it so you can do payments.
Sezzle.
Right?
Use Sezzle.
Okay.
On your Shopify. You use Shopify? Who do you use?
No, BigCommerce now.
I'm sure they have
using Stripe.
Yeah. So for guys that don't know, when we talk about, when I always say Shopify, I don't care what company you use. Yeah. But it's like using Facebook. And I say that because if you can use Facebook, you can use these website commerce stores, and they're apps. It's just like having an iPad. You just click the button of the service you want to use, and it charges you $12 a month or whatever to add the app. And then, like Sezzle, for instance, will break whatever you could order $1,000 of SOE gear, and it'll break it into 12 payments. Sezzle pays me right away. I'm sure they steal a percentage of it, a couple points or whatever, just like a credit card does. But you get your shit right away, and you are now beholden to them. And when you don't pay them, they don't deduct my money. I already got my money. They come after you in collections. And that's how Sezzle works. And there's a ton of apps like that, so that they can make payments. Go ahead. What were you saying about her?
Well, what happened was, she's like, can you make it so that I can do like multiple payments? And so what I did, I took my account. It was like a personal PayPal. I turned it into a business account so that she could. Well, what happened with that then is it tied up my money and said you have to get this number of orders, this number of amount of money that comes through, and fulfill this many, and blah, blah, blah. So now all the money I have is tied up in PayPal.
I've had it happen a dozen times, situations like this.
Dude, and then the best part is she doesn't order.
Yep. It's always, man, the person that asks for the most is going to give you the least.
Yeah.
They're going to do the least. They're not going to, and that's also the person that is more apt, who's going to be angry and leave a bad review that has nothing to do with the actual product.
Right.
They're going to try to punish you.
Phone calls.
Yes, it's the Karen always. Not all, like 99% it is. It's always the Karen.
She was nice, but she just didn't buy anything. You know.
We just had a dude comment on one of the videos on maybe it was a tool bag video. I think it was. I don't know, something I read the other day. Maybe it was because I was looking at the tool bag video. It was a comment from a couple months ago, maybe. And it said, I really like these bags, but I can't afford them. Do you have a second or a sample? When I have a second that's sewn wrong, we usually put it up as auction. We're like, hey, this is a second. Here's what's wrong. They go for 2 and 3 times retail. If this bag's $100, I auction them for $300 every fucking time. And here's what happens when you do an auction. It's a feeding frenzy. Right. People like to watch it. They're paying attention to it to see what it goes for, and they'll jump in early on. But the guys, the 2 or 3 guys, or the 4 or 5 guys that have committed to it, if this bag sells for 100 and it's up to 200, and then it goes to 300, a bunch of dudes duck out. But they've already mentally spent the money.
It's mine.
They're going to come by, even though they didn't win this at 300. They were already mentally sold on spending 200. They're going to come and buy something from you. So sales always elevate during an auction, at least on my stuff. Now you got to be careful with it, because if this is a $100 bag and I auction it off and it only goes for $60, the new threshold on that bag, it's never happened to me.
Right.
But I don't run a ton of, like, why do my bags sell for $1,000 to $2,000 every time I put one up that I do leather hybrid stuff with? Because they've always sold for that.
Yeah.
As soon as it doesn't sell for that and it only sells for 600 or 1,000, nobody's ever going to bid that high on them again.
Right.
It's all fucking. They're badass bags. I mean, it's much more difficult to build them in leather and such. But
and it builds up the seconds, like, where you just got bins full of shit, and you're like, why Why is it taking up space right now?
What you're going to find when you start selling those seconds or putting them out there too, you need to mark them in some manner, because you're going to have something that you sold to some dude, and then he's going to give it to somebody or sell it, and they're going to fuck it up, and they're going to want you to warranty it, right? What was it a second for? And that's the whole thing too. You'll have people, you'll have that shit start floating around out there. Like, it's a lot of times I'll go through our seconds and just fucking destroy them. Literally, if it's elastic loop sewn wrong, I'll go through and cut every fucking loop.
Wow.
So that they can't ever get out into the population.
Oh, yeah.
Because as soon as you have something and you gave it to your boy and like, hey, these are sewer sewed, these are kind of crooked, or these are too tight. This one holds a shell perfectly, but this one's a little tight right here, but these will work great inside a bag to hold pins and chem lights.
Yeah.
As soon as he sells it or gives it to somebody else and it doesn't work right, they'll try to feed it back to you. Like, I used to go around, I guess I never did this, but guys would go around at like swap meets and shit and buy Leatherman tools with broken blades.
Right.
And they'd send them in the Leatherman send them a brand new one.
Ah, yeah.
Citizen used to warranty for life all their Aqualand dive watches. So if you bought one that was flooded or you knew it was broke or whatever, you could send it in and they'd just send you a new watch.
Right, right.
So think 10 years, 20 years down the road. Keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I was thinking about too. It's like, if I fuck up something, yeah, it's usable, but then the other thing is I don't want my product getting out there and people looking at me like, this is
I say it all the time. So you see it, you see it in magazines. I guess not so much in magazines, online now, right? Recoil would hit a bunch of people up. They're like, hey, we're doing a rigger's belt review. Will you send us your rigger belt in, right?
Oh, yeah.
And typically we knew people at the magazine, so they would hit us up direct. And you'd see this article come out eventually with 20 rigger's belts in there. And you'd see guys in there send in rigger's belts, looks very similar to ours, or some of them were identical to ours perhaps. But there's threads all over them, right? The Velcro's crooked. The stitches aren't tensioned. And they knew this was getting photographed under real cameras. And that's the best they had to offer. Imagine what they're shipping out on the normal days.
Crazy.
And I say it all the time. Like, I'll be out there every night. I do a live with the iPad, and I'll just be walking past, and I'm like, ooh, that's stitching. That's not tensioned. Ooh, that's crooked, right? And I'll put it back over here to be resewed. The camera is a magnifying glass.
Right.
It like, look at your shit. If you're not sure, just look at it under a camera. If it looks bad to you, and you let somebody take that out of there, it's going to look 100 times worse, because that dude's going to be excited about it. He might not even be complaining, right? Mm-hmm. He's just excited, and he took a really good photo of it, right? Mm-hmm. And then your shit looks 10 times worse than it actually looks.
Right. I literally use that to read stuff like a router, and I can't see the password.
I do it all the time. Yeah, me too. I'm 52. I can't see. I'll get custom glasses. I'm like, I guess I better get some glasses. I'll get glasses made. Dr. Shelton, he's his alumni. Build up some badass in Oakley frames and shit for me. I'll put them on. I'm like, holy shit! I can see through walls. I can see right through her shirt. And I'll have them on for about 10 minutes. I'll take them off, and then my vision's blurring. I'm like, oh shit! If I start wearing these, I'm never going to be able to not wear them.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to the point where I have to. But
my baby broke my prescription, so I'm on a 3-year-old right now.
Zanies, is it Zanies.com? There's an online. Yeah. And they'll send you like 3 or 4 pairs of glasses with your prescription. Fucking way less than you're going to pay local, although you are helping local economy when you buy local. But they send you all the box and shit. You just keep the ones you want and send them back.
I had a pair of Zennies where because my prescription, they're +6 right now. This isn't even that big, but I had them right in there. You blind fuck. I was like, I'd be like, you know what they said about it? And I'd show them. Yeah.
When we sew belts for friends, I'll put on the inside, Justin eats dicks. That's what he's got on the inside.
I usually, with the notes, you do notes, and that's where I took it from. And I'll be like, something like, thank you. Without you, we wouldn't have a company, blah, blah, blah. I use this thing every day. Now I know with Keep Fighting Communism, YouTube line, or now I've started writing Kill All Pedophiles.
I like it. Yeah. So use their name.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Thank you for your 187th order. I say something serious. I hope you never need to use this tourniquet. Yep. Say something funny. I hope your wife really loves this big black cock.
Yeah.
Right? Because they bought a combat cock or whatever. Yeah. So I try to use their name, something serious, something funny. Hey, thank you for supporting my company and representing that in public. It was important enough for you to buy this shirt that I've sent you these other things. Thank you.
Yep.
And then I got a lot of that from one of Andy Frisella's shows.
Yeah.
And then if you subscribe to First Form, you don't subscribe. You just have a reoccurring order to First Form, right? So I get OptiGreens from them. And once you get your 10th order, they handwrite a postcard and they mail it to you in a separate envelope, awesome. Right? Not just with the order. It just comes in the mail. And I'm like, what is it? Man is like, I don't know. First Form sent it. So I'm looking at this, and they had these black cards made. So we ordered postcards.
Yeah.
That just have our logo, and they're blank on the inside. They're jet black envelopes. We handwrite with a silver Sharpie on the envelope. We address it to you. We send it to you. And what we were doing when I was shipping for a couple of weeks, I started noticing that we were shipping guys every single day, shipping dudes. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, this guy orders every day. We're shipping this dude something over and over, and I don't know this guy's name. So I'd look into his account, and I'm like, this guy has 1,000 orders, and I don't know his name. Like, that's a problem, right?
Right.
You would think your shipping dude would be like, hey, and I don't know to ask, right?
Right.
So now I know. So we would at 10 orders, or when he had a ton of orders, when I first caught on to this guy's account, I'd look, and he's a $100,000 customer, $20,000 customer, whatever. When you get to 10 or you get to 20 or whatever, be like, hey man, thank you for ordering, and send them a gift card for 10% of the fucking amount spent, or whatever your threshold is, whatever you're comfortable with. Because when you're starting out, if you had you wouldn't have a customer at $100,000, but if you sent him 10%, you sent him 10 grand, that's a lot of fucking money. He could fuck you up for months on that.
Right.
So send him something, a gift card, something that doesn't cost you anything. Send him something unique. Perhaps you had challenge coins made. You could have challenge coins done for 10, 20, $10 a piece, a patch that only they get or whatever. Send them something. Send them a $10% gift card that expires in 72 hours. What we saw when we did that, they always spent way beyond what we fucking gave them.
Right.
Always. And they have 3 days to do it.
Right.
And you can set your threshold for time of shipping or whatever, but it works, man.
Yeah.
It works hugely, and nobody does that. Nobody fucking handwrites a letter, or not, it doesn't have to be a letter. Like, we were just taking the printing slips and fucking writing on
it. Right, yeah, a little note on there. It means something.
For Acela, I don't know what's happening now over there with the way the labor pool is, but Andy actually employed, because I know they had some big business advisors and shit. His goal is to be bigger than Nike. Right? And he just built a building that's the size of a fucking Amazon, and there's one across the street that's his building also.
Badass.
So they actually employed 50 people, and all those 50 people did was handwrite those letters.
That's so badass.
For each order that went through. I gotta pee. We're gonna pause for a minute.
Okay.